This is called the Tolotoka Bridge, okay, the bridge of the rising sun, which eventually is also called the bridge that leads to nowhere. A bit of history about this bridge, right? This bridge was built in Honduras in Central America sometime in the year 1998. A lot of effort was spent on building this bridge designed to withstand the power force of nature. And of course, right, on the very year when it was commissioned, Honduras was hit by Hurricane Mitch, which eventually caused a very big damage to the nation and of course to the infrastructures. Other bridges were damaged, roads were gone, but this bridge, right, remains standing strong. But did you notice that this bridge is lead to nowhere and serve no purpose? And why is that so? If you see on the right hand side, right? Okay, there's no roads that leads to it because of the hurricane. There's no water that flows under the bridge. So with these articles that I've read some time back, right, I would like to bring this article to cybersecurity. We are facing a lot of rapid changes, right, in the cybersecurity, in the ecosystems, right? Yesterday's threat landscape may not be relevant today. You have made the best decision. I believe all of you all, right, have made the best decision, right, on yesterday that in terms of securing your environment. With the technology that's available yesterday, it is able to secure your environment. How about today? How about today? Today's world, right? Okay. Today's world, we should build something that is not built to last, most importantly, but a technology that is able to build to adapt. Because, right, the world keeps changing and threats, they themselves, right, also continuously, right, keep upgrading itself. There's no questions about ransomware is a growing threat. In fact, right, ransomware is one of the fastest growing threat in the cybersecurity, with damages, right, built to billions globally today, and only, right, about $345 million in year 2015, just 5 years of difference. There is a predictions where ransomware is ransomware attacks on business, right? Just a quick recap of what is ransomware, right? So ransomware is a form of malware that encrypts the victim's file, and then the attackers will demand a ransom from the victims in order to restore the files, your important files, right? And users have to follow the instructions to pay a fee to get the decryption key. Today, you don't need to be technical. Okay, the bad guys don't really need to be technical, right, to be able to deploy ransomware. And why is that so? First and foremost, right, you can see that ransomware, now the bad guys also know ransomware as a service, just like what everyone has heard, software as a service, infra as a service. To the bad guys, to the underground forum, right, is RAAS, ransomware as a service. They have packaged, okay, the tools ready for you to deploy it. You don't need to be technical to deploy the malware. And second, right, then that is where after deploying the malware, that is where there's a data extortion, right? Users cannot access to their critical informations. And this is where, right, you will have opportunity to gain money, stuff, informations from the victims, right? And there is a lot of success. There are a lot of success case study, or should I say that success from the bad guys, right, when they are doing the data extortion, right? This is where we are seeing more and more cyber criminal targeting at us. This is very, very important. So what is ransomware and how it works, right? The most common ways on the left-hand side is to, right, there are two most common ways we're talking, right, on the most two common applications. First, we're talking about emails. Second, we're talking about browsing the internet, browsing the website. I believe everyone here, right, in this room, right, has access to email, has access to internet, right? And that is where, right, we are also targeted. So on the left-hand side, right, you can see how it works, right? You are able to see that emails that has been received, and when the victims were to click on it, then that is where bad things starts to happen. On the right-hand side, we are also talking about when you are browsing a website, right? And this is where we're talking about the foulest attacks comes into the picture. And at the end of the day, right, that is where your hard disk, okay, your critical information will be encrypted, and it will be presented with a screen, that one and only screen, for you to pay the ransom. This is how it works, right? But of course, these are the two most common applications the attackers, okay, the bad guys users, right? But that doesn't mean, right, if I were to stop email, if I were to stop internet access, right, I'm able to prevent all the ransomware. That is not true. These are only the two most common methods of the bad guys deploying it. And with this particular slides, you can also see that, right? On the left-hand side, you are able to see it like a file-based attack, On the right-hand side of the attacks, right, it is a fileless type of attacks. Okay, these are the two different attacks that is commonly used by the attackers. Most of the organizations are facing this, right? First, we are talking about cost. The cost to maintain on-premise security solutions. We are talking about, apart from the solutions that customers has adopted, right? You have to fork out extra costs, extra expenses on hardware, software, database, upgrade, and so on and so forth. This is the results, right? These are the results of having an on-prem solution. Second, we are talking about customers has way too many security solutions or way too many agents running on their poor laptops, desktops, or even servers, right? I have ever seen a customers, right, somewhere in Asia, they have, in the name of security, they have 8 different types of agents running on all their endpoints, running on all their servers, laptop, desktops, 8 different types of agent, 8 different vendors. You can imagine, right, the CPU resources, that the memory that is needed to run these 8 different agents. And last but not least, right, we're talking about the third one. Signature-based solutions are missing all the attacks, right? Today, it is not just unlike 10 years ago, right, when we are talking about the file, is the file known or the file unknown. If it's talking about unknown, how fast my engines is able to receive the unknown signature and so on. Today, we are talking about file-based attacks. We are talking about fileless attacks. There's no file at all. So your legacy antivirus is unable to scan. And last but not least, we are talking about living off the land. If you were to Google what is living off the land, right, is the attackers leveraging on the applications, the approved applications in your environment to launch an attack. When we're talking about today's endpoint, right, today's workload, right, it is not just about your laptop and desktop, your desktop. Apart from doing protections, right, you need to have full visibility, okay, across all your endpoints, your workloads, right, to be able, right, first, to be able to detect malicious activities on what you can see. And most importantly, our core is always to have visibility first. Today, we are securing all the endpoints, your workstations, your servers, your data centers, right? And of course, right, if any organizations are adopting the cloud or running on hybrid, right, the clouds, the containers, right, the Kubernetes, we are able to come in to secure all through a single management console. With all the requirements that have shown in the earlier slides, right, this is where, right, CrowdStrike is able to come in to fulfill all the requirements, all via a single lightweight agent and through a single management console that is in the cloud, right? When we talk about cloud-based, right, this is where we're talking about there's no management setup, no people, right? You do not need to assign someone to manage or to manage or even to maintain the management. The management is by us. So we will be able to come in to help you to save costs, right? And the second portion, right, it is very easy to deploy. It is extremely easy. Just to share with you, recently, one of my customers, over a weekend, just 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, they have deployed 30,000 CrowdStrike endpoints to their environment. This is what we can offer to you, and these are the things that we can help you to save costs. We are a TI company, we are a threat intel company, and most importantly, this sets us apart. This sets us apart from the rest. Sun Tzu, Art of War, did say this, right? If you know your enemy and you know yourself, you are not fear the results of 100 battles. And this is where CrowdStrike is offering to our customers. To be able to know yourself, through our single lightweight agent, apart from the protections, right? Then that is where we are also able to allow you to know the enemies, because we are a threat intelligence company. Just to share with you in terms of our threat intelligence page, right? This was captured last week when I was preparing for this webinar, right? Today, we track more than 156 threat actors in the world. And I did a filter for Indonesia. And these are the attackers, right? These are the actors that will pose a risk to the Indonesia customers. And you can also filter, right, like based on the industries, based on the countries, and based on the motivation, just to name a few. There are more threat intelligence informations that we are able to provide to you, right? Based on these particular threat actors, right? On the left-hand side, you will be able to know where are they from, the origins, the last known activities, right? Okay, that was this month. On the right-hand side, okay, on the middle, you will be able to see the targeted nations, okay, and you will be able to see Indonesia is part of it. And this is where, right, legacy solutions will not be able to come in to provide you all these informations. First point to take note, right, our sensor, okay, our solution, it is not just an antivirus. We are the next generation AV, right, that's able to come in to do all the necessary protection. First, we are signatureless. Our sensor doesn't run on a signature-based solutions like the traditional AV. That resulted, we are very, very lightweight. Let me give you some numbers in terms of lightweight, right? Installation file is less than 60 meg. Installation timing is about 2 to 3 minutes. You don't need a reboot. CPU required is about 0 to 1%. And this is how lightweight we are, right? And in terms of protections on the sensor itself, right, we have 3 different layers. One, machine learning to replace the signature-based solutions to prevent any file-based attack, be it known or unknown. And when we talk about the foulers, right, today we are seeing more than 50% of the attacks, right, involve foulers. That is where our exploit detection comes into the picture. And last but not least, right, to target the living of the land, right, that is where our indicators of attack, our IOA engines comes into the picture. On the Overwatch portion, right, later on I have a particular slide that talk about the Overwatch. So in any case that any one of you are curious about how Overwatch works, right? Apart from the protections, right, the sensors also act as a CCTV recorder that collects the information, right, from the protected endpoint. And if there's any actions needed, right, from the GUI itself, we are able to take actions. Example, quarantine the endpoint, killing a process, removing a file, deleting a registry, just to name a few. These are the things that we are able to do. Apart from doing the protection, right, the sensor also acts as a CCTV recorder. In terms of the protections, right, I have to emphasize, we will do protections, right, irregardless your endpoint is connected to the internet or not. We don't really care. For example, your endpoints, right, are in the data center, no internet access. We are able to do the necessary protections. In terms of CrowdStrike securing all our endpoints, that will include everything, right, like servers, mobile phones, cloud services, laptop, and desktop. We take security into 3 approaches with a combination of human and technologies. We believe, right, okay, we are not, first and foremost, we are not living in a Skynet days or Terminator world, right, where machines are smarter than human, machines are going to kill off all the humans, right? Today, we believe all attacks, there is a human behind the malware, the incidents, the breaches, right? We believe there is someone behind, a human behind it. That is where, right, in terms of the way we secure, the way we protect all our endpoints, it has to be a combination of human and technology. And let's see how this works, right? On the left-hand side, we are talking about the threats. On the right-hand side, we are talking about CrowdStrike, how the CrowdStrikers comes in to develop the technologies and the human portion, right, to secure all the endpoints. We are seeing commodity malware, right? Signature-based has failed because every day we are seeing about more a new variance of 1 million new malware that happens every day. That is where signature-based has failed. In terms of how CrowdStrikers comes in, the technologies that we have developed, right, we are using the next generation AV, signatureless, lightweight agents that is able to come in to know the file that has been executed. Is it a good file or a bad file? The second portion, right, we're talking about the advanced TTP, the advanced tactics, tactics techniques, right? So this is where, right, the EDR comes into the picture, the endpoint detection and response, right? We will be able to come in, right, to do the necessary, apart from the protection, we are able to come in to do the investigation, to know where's my endpoint, to know recently what are the files that has been executed, to search whether all my endpoints has even access to this particular domain, all my endpoints has even, right, executed a particular file. All this can be found, okay, through the EDR modules. And the investigation doesn't need your endpoints to be connected to the internet. And last but not least, we are talking about the 1%, or even the 0.1% that blend silently in your environment, right? Waiting for the right time to execute the bad stuff, right? To cripple the network. That is where our Overwatch team comes into the picture. 24/7 Overwatch team, the human detection engine, okay? The threat hunters is able to come in, right? To look at your telemetry 24/7, sent from the sensor. And if there's anything that's abnormal, we will be able to flag it out to the customers. We will be able to guide the customers on how to do the investigation, how to do the remediation, and so on. I'm coming to the end of my presentations, right? We're talking about, okay, why should I change? Why should I change? Why should I change? Why should I consider changing my endpoint security? Everything works fine for me. I saw news that what happened to others, but it is not me. And why should I change? The answer is very simple. Today, we are not just facing simple attacks like 10 years, 20 years ago, decades ago. But today, right, the adversary is out to cripple your environment and to gain money out of it. They do not care whether we are the big organization, the small organization, the loud organization, or the quiet organization. They do not care. Okay, and of course, they do not care where you are. As long as they got a chance, you are connected to the internet. Some machines, maybe, you have access to email. I would say everyone will have access to email. They will find a way to get into your environment. They will not rest until they achieve their motive, their objective, and most importantly, to get some money out of it. Getting a good endpoint, it is not just an insurance anymore. We are here to protect your environment. Speak to us. Speak to us on how we can help you to save costs. Speak to us on how we can help you to protect all your endpoints. I'm going to end my presentation with this slide. Give us an hour to speak to you, to understand your environment. Based on this 1 hour, and let's see how CrowdStrike is able to help you better secure your environment. This is Sean Lim from CrowdStrike, and we stop the breaches. Thank you.